Your reasons for listening to this show, well, those are your own. But just keep in mind that the views, information, or opinions expressed on the Tuddle Daily Podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of our sponsors. Yeah, it's called free speech, people. Nobody's forcing you to listen.
Get ready for your daily dose of Tuddle.
The all-time greatest intern/producer we've ever had, of course, Tuddle. Tuddle in Florida.
From the Hobo Fish Camp, it's the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
No wonder nobody likes you, Tuddle. Everything's a goddamn debate.
Greetings and welcome to another edition of the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Hopefully you guys enjoyed your weekend and hopefully you're having a great Monday. Couple of ways you can get a hold of me. You can email me, tuddle@gmail.com. That's Tuddle with two D's, Tuddle @gmail.com. Or you can leave me a voicemail, 407-270-3044. Don't forget, coming up tonight at 8, it's going to be the Tuddle Daily Podcast live stream. Go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tuddle. I ended up watching the NASCAR race yesterday. That was a long, drawn-out experience. But I got to tell you, I wasn't too sure of how the product was going to be on a quarter-mile track. But the racing was not that bad. There was some passing, and for you to be able to pass on that track, you were going to have to move somebody out of the way, which I know that a lot of people like. The weirdest thing of the whole event was Ice Cube. I thought Ice Cube did a great job, and a lot of the people that went to the event, I could see are LA, people from LA, people from California, of course, and they're all going to be fans of Ice Cube. This was not your regular NASCAR event. Now, I'm sure there were some NASCAR people that traveled over to be able to watch it. It was just weird seeing a lot of, you could tell, like, all the people that were sponsors, all the older guys, they were all trying to keep on rhythm, bobbing their head. They were like, you know what, this black guy, he's pretty good at this rap thing. Might have to look into him. Maybe he can do some endorsements and stuff for us. That's how awkward it looked. But once again, Joey Logano, he's one of those guys that everybody loves to hate, and I don't even know why. I don't even know why. It's probably because of his dad. Probably because he's just so good. You ever notice when people are really, really good, they do whatever they can to that you hate them, that you actually, I lost my train of thought there if I'm just being honest. But what I'm trying to say, though, is that you're going to have a lot of haters when you're really, really good at what you do, especially in the business. Everybody's going to hate you. I mean, look at what's happened to Rogan. Look at what is happening to Bubba. Speaking of Bubba, I got some audio that I'm going to play. I think he talked about me last week. And look, none of it's going to be combative. I would love to hear what he has to say. Because I'm done being combative and stuff like that. I'm ready to own up for all my mistakes. I'm just saying, I will own every single one. I will own every single one of them because, it's something you got to do, especially when you're a recovering alcoholic. You actually, not just an alcoholic, just an addict, taking anything and everything that will just make yourself feel good because you went through some type of trauma. And I'm not making excuses with that. But back to the NASCAR race, though, with Joey Logano winning, everybody hates him. Everybody hates him. They're doing the same thing. Rogan and Bubba, Howard, they all try to take him down. They get a little too big. They go back. They dig up stuff from people's past. Look at Tucker Carlson. They're doing the same thing to him. So when you're really, really good at what you do, you make a lot of waves, and that's why people come for you. That's why people hate Joe Logano. But guess what? He wins. He wins all the time. Also, speaking about recovery, holy crap. I don't know how many of you guys watched the TV show on HBO called Euphoria. Ooh, man. That was an extremely dark episode last night. And it was cut up beautifully because the first part of it was just intense acting. And then the other thing, it just halfway through it turned into a foot police chase. It was just really good. Uncomfortable. And I just don't see how they're going to end that show because it's got to end on a it's so dark. There's no way any of them at all are going to have a happy ending. It's just not going to happen. But going to move along. I told you just a few minutes ago, somebody had sent me some audio. Oh, you know what? They didn't send me the audio. They just told me about the audio. I'm not going to act like I'm big enough that somebody would actually edit the audio down and send it to me so I could play it. No, I went and pulled it myself. And, you know, I got to tell you, Bubba really has not run me down at all. I mean, maybe a little bit here and there, but I think it's just jokes. I did put him in a hard spot when it came to me crap talking people at Florida Man Radio. And I've told everybody, look, I will get on my hands and knees and I will beg and I will just plead for your forgiveness. Not even to get a job back. It's just, hey, I want to be on not even equal ground. I want to be on stable ground with everybody in the business. So, yeah, let's get into this. I would love to hear what Bubba had to say.
And I think, man, I think, Tuddle, I could have made...
And by the way, I don't want anybody to think that Bubba just out of the blue was talking about me. He wasn't. He was talking about the real story behind Manson leaving. And then, I guess, you know, because I was the next person to... No, maybe I... Yeah, I was. I think I was the next full-time person to go. So, I guess just, you know, naturally, you would talk about me as well, too. And, you know, I heard it was nothing but good things. But, like I said, we'll see.
I think people, I mean, are people digging this? Me breaking this down?
Yeah.
I think it's good radio.
Yeah.
I do.
I like learning about the history of the show.
Thank you. So, I mean, honest to God, if I was to be true to the game like I've been, I could have made Tuddle a star. I mean, he knew how to work.
Mm-hmm.
Tuddle knew how to work. He just sometimes would work too stiff.
All right, yeah, and I will agree. Bubba could have made me a star. Matter of fact, though, I think he did make me into a star when it comes to, if you think about it, if you just sit back and think about it, when was I my most popular? Was my days in Tampa, and let's be honest, like, I would have never worked at the Bone if it wasn't because I worked with Bubba. Bubba helped me get my foot in the door just in the Tampa market alone. And that last, starting 2015, I was in the studio 2 days a week. Trace got Monday through Wednesday, and I got Thursday and Friday. Never understood that, but I didn't want to rock the boat. But at the same time, I was getting to sit in the studio. We were syndicated all over the country. So, yeah, I would almost say at that point, Bubba did make me into a star. And there's no telling what kind of star I would be today, like he said, if I wouldn't have worked too stiff. And I'll admit, I did. I would work way too stiff. And if you're listening, you don't know what I'm talking about by using the term stiff. I was just being a dick. I was, you know, like we would just joke around and we would throw stuff at each other, you know, insults, but they would be jokes. Not this. I was throwing like real high heaters. I was trying to throw sweet chin music. Like I was pitching insults, but these were like high heaters. And it got away from me. It did. It got away from me and got me away from radio.
But I could have fixed that. But he was a huge alcoholic, and I think that was a huge issue.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was. I'll admit it was. Because I'll tell you why it was, all right? What I've learned from my days of being an alcoholic and now being like 2.5 years removed from it, that I am actually aware of when I'm about to work myself out of a situation. And I'm not talking a bad situation. I'm working my way out of a good situation. Because I was not thinking logically back when I was taking drugs and massive amounts of alcohol. But yes, it was keeping me from just thinking about things logistically and logically Like, if I would have been able to tap myself on the shoulder and be like, yo, hey, man, back off. You're about to screw up a really good thing here. Yeah, now that I'm sober, I can look at those situations and I can diffuse them. Back then, no, I couldn't do it. Just could not do it.
And, then the suicide attempt. And then Tuddle would still be here right now had he not done one thing. Let's see if you know what that one thing is that Tuddle did that made me, I'll never have Tuddle again. He did one thing. Do you know what it is?
All right. So, this kind of proves that I'm not feeling this way. I'm not just saying these type of things to be able to get back on Bubba's good side. Yeah, I would love to be still considered a friend of Bubba's. But, he just said that I'm never, ever going to work with him again. So, I think I used up all my lives. I did. I used up all my lives. Because you got to think, 5 or 6 different times I think that I worked with the Bubba The Love Sponge show. And I really do think that I've just worn out my welcome. And I completely get it. He seems very, very happy with the crew that he has now. But I'm interested to see. I think I got an idea, but I could be wrong.
Is that when he came back, he told him to go home? And
he tried to blame it all on me.
And then he kind of said it was your fault, for everything. And
so we bring Tuddle. Lummy and Colton are supposed to go pick up Tuddle on Thursday from the Funny Farm.
Mm-hmm.
And Tuddle called the show the day before from the Funny Farm on his own free will.
And Bubba's right. That I was not told to call into the show. I decided to call into the show because, if I'm just being honest, I was getting very, very bored in there. I was getting very, very bored being there at the being in a mental institution is one of those situations that you never ever think growing up. Man, one day I'm gonna have to spend 11 days in a mental institution. No, nobody ever thinks that. But when you get there, it's boring. You're on a floor about the size of a football field. You're packed in there with a bunch of other crazy people. No stimulation at all. No clocks for you to be able to look at. The only way you could tell what time it is by the one window that was facing on the sunset side. Yeah, 11 days. Well, 11 days seem like a month, people. I'm just being upfront with you. So if you ever, just don't do it. Just don't do it. It's like the reverse Nike. Just don't do it. Don't try to harm yourself. Don't do something that's going to get yourself in the mental institution. But yeah, no, I called in, and that was on my own free will. Nobody asked me to do that. I was bored.
And he's like, I think I get out tomorrow, boss. I said, all right, I'll send Lummy and Colton to come get you, okay, buddy? And then, of course, I'll be on the air Thursday, ready to go. I go, hey, listen, for real. I'm being 200. I threw all the codes out there and everything. I'm like, listen, for real, I'm being 200. Go home and see your parents. His parents live, in the Daytona Beach, Volusia area.
Yeah.
In a trailer park.
All right. Yes, Bubba said every single bit of that. He did. And, once again, not blaming this on him. I'm blaming it all on me. I'm owning up to it. I'm owning up to everything. I worked in radio, and you know how Bubba said he could have made me a star? I was in a good spot. I was already out for a week. I was out of the radio studio for a week. That is a lifetime in radio, especially when the show keeps going on. Because guess what? When you're gone, this happens to you in radio. When you're not as secure with your abilities like Bubba is, you freak out because guess what? Everybody's like, man, this was a good week of shows. Wonder what was different. Oh, yeah, Tuddle wasn't there. And Bubba told me all that. Bubba, now listening to him, and I should have listened to him this way, but see, the difference between now and back then was I was so drugged up at the time. That's the other thing. 9 different prescriptions they had me on when I got out of there. I didn't know if I was coming or going. So I wasn't making clear, rational thoughts. I just wasn't. I wasn't capable of doing that. And in my crazy mind, I thought Bubba, no, don't come in, meant yes, come in, because I want to see how much you are committed to being a part of this winning team. That's what was going through my head. Now, was that reality? No, that wasn't reality at all. I thought I was doing something right, and in the end game, it was the one that got my ass fired and out of radio. And I'm not making excuses. Looking back on it now, like I said, now that I'm clear-headed, I know that I did everything possibly wrong in this situation.
But he loved, and he was super close to his parents. He lived with them. And he was just, they're just really, really good people. Wayne, God bless his soul, Wayne's dad, and his mama. And his mom has gone through cancer numerous times, and Tuddle's been a great
taking care of her
kid, and taking care of his parents. And they really, really missed him because he had to live over here full time. They'd never been without him. He'd always lived with her.
He was living on Colton's couch.
So, I'm like, Tuddle, you just went through something super traumatic. You're not in the right headspace. You need to go see your mom and dad, and I'll see you on Monday. No, boss, I know that you really want me, and I just know that you're saying that. No. For real, buddy. Go see your parents. And then I even told Colton and Lummy, when you guys pick him up, tell him for real to go see his parents. There's no heat. I'm not punishing him.
Mm-hmm.
I take it that you don't want me, Bubba, so I'm getting a 2-day suspension. No, Tuddle, buddy, I'm going to pay you. It's none of that, buddy. Just go get your head right. Come back on Monday, bud. We love you.
Man, this is painful for me to listen to. Not that this isn't good radio. It's great radio, but man, it really makes me kind of sick to my stomach. It just does, because if I would not have been on all the mood stabilizing drugs, wouldn't have been an alcoholic, wouldn't have been a pillhead, not counting the psychotropic mood stabilizing drugs. I'm talking about other stuff. I was stacking bad things on top of stuff that's supposed to be good, but in the end, I found out that the good pills were bad. So I was stacking bad on bad on bad. And this is why this all happened. This is why Bubba's having this conversation right now, because I didn't know any better.
Oh, okay. I don't know what you're getting at. Just go home. See you on Monday, bud. Everything will be good. So sure enough, Anna, they pick him up. He throws a fit to Colton, and he's here at 6 on the air.
Yeah, we told him to
so
go home.
That automatically kind of puts me not in a bad mood, but I'm like, Tuddle. So we open up. I think the show's laying around here somewhere. Tuddle's Return of the Not So Funny Farm. I think it's on YouTube. I think that shows, actually.
I think so.
When I threw him out. So the first opening seemed pretty good. Talking about getting the booty juice. If you get unruly at the funny farm, they give you the booty juice.
See, and that's the thing that morning. That morning, I got a lot of laughs. I was like, hell yeah, man. Maybe I need to go to the, well, no, not at the time. Maybe at the time I was taking that, but because I was still coming down off of the 9 pills and the booty juice they had me on, that I was like, man, I'm killing it. This is great content, da-da-da-da-da. And then it all went downhill. I got fired. I was reading some comments off of the Twitch chat, and they were the comments that were probably bad things that were being said about Bubba. I don't even know if he brings that up, but yeah, I did that. I definitely did that, and that also didn't help. So, maybe shouldn't have played this. Kind of got me down a little bit.
For 2 big guys come and hold you down on it and shoot your butt.
Yep.
Like Dexter Willie. And then it somehow got into, he turned it around on me where I demanded that he had to come in today.
Oh.
And I'm like, that's not how it is, buddy. Oh, yes, it is. I know. And I finally lost it. I'm like, get out of here.
There have been times where Bubba had kicked me out of the studio, but that one right there was the one that I knew, like, he meant it. He meant it immediately, because he didn't even have to say 200. He didn't have to say anything at all. I knew exactly that I had messed up at that point, and that was kind of a little bit of an awakening. It was. Then I ended up getting fired. He told me to go home for the weekend still. But I knew since I hadn't heard from him, I knew that I was probably going to get fired. And then I was getting ready to get my stuff and drive back over to Tampa. And yeah, I got the phone call. I was told, hey, just wanted to catch you before you drove over. Just want to let you know, we don't need you anymore. And that was the end of the story. And Bubba's right. Like, he definitely helped me out when it came to my image and where I am at right now. I know a lot of people might not see it that way. I know a lot of people are probably like, well, you know, working with Bubba probably hurt your image. It probably did. But I really don't care. Like, I mean, that's the thing about it. Without Bubba, I wouldn't have been able to work at any of those other radio stations. The Monsters would have never taken me back in 2014. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I do owe to Bubba. So, yeah. I can't disagree with anything that I just heard from Bubba's review of me and why I got let go. So, matter of fact, I thought Bubba was pretty cool about the whole situation. You know, going back and listening to it now where I'm clear-headed and I'm in the best place that I've ever been, physically and mentally in my life, this podcast is growing. I look back at it and I'm like, yeah, Bubba was right the whole time. Moving along. Look, I'm sure you guys probably didn't even like that. I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing me even talk about Bubba and stuff. I really don't have anything bad to say about him. Like I said, he was right about everything. So, like I said, I digress. Moving along, I want to talk about this next story. We've all worked jobs, especially when you're younger. You're always looking for ways to be able to just kind of like scam the system a little bit. I remember one of the first jobs I used to stock shelves, and I always have to take out the cardboard boxes. That's why they always move the cardboard box squishing machine inside, like, of all the Winn-Dixies and Publixes. They don't keep them outside anymore because people would take the grocery carts with the cardboard boxes, and I would stop and I would get alcohol and I'd put it underneath there and cover it up with the boxes. And I'd be like, I got to take these boxes out, got to get rid of them, knowing that I would just leave the stuff out there and some of my buddies would just come by and get it. Then there was other times when I worked at the car wash. Me, my buddy Howard, we never bought lunch at the Burger King across the street from the car wash. We just never did because we would do rewashes sometimes on some of these cars because a lot of these older people would not be happy with the way that their car came out. And we would just run it back through again. Then we would just say on one of them, we'd be like, oh, this person wasn't happy. We did another run through, and we were actually sending a car through. And then what we would do is actually take that money. We'd be like, oh, that was a rerun. Never paid for it. But then this next story, this is actually a federal crime. This guy was taking prop money. And if you've never, ever seen prop money, it's the type of money that they use in movies. Because there's no way that they would be able to keep up with all the money on a movie set if it was real money. Like, for example, remember in the Batman where the Joker burns out, not real money, prop money. But his prop money looks really, really real. Remember the first time I ever saw it in person was when Colton and me used to go get our haircut at his friend Bezos' house. He shoots a lot of rap music videos over in Tampa. And they use a lot of fake prop money. But over in, I think, somewhere in the Midwest, at a Home Depot, this guy was using prop money and exchanging it for the real money and depositing the prop money in the Home Depot account. Yeah, that's not going to work out. I don't understand how anybody in their right mind would think that they were going to get away with that.
Nearly $400,000 stolen from this Tempe Home Depot. And we're told the employee accused of taking it replaced some of the bills with fake money he bought on Amazon.
Wait a minute. How could that even be real? Like, I don't understand. I know that they need prop money. They need prop money for movies. They need prop money for any, like, creative type stuff. They sell prop guns. They do that, but isn't it like a federal? It's got to be a federal offense, right? I mean, even though you didn't print it, now is that considered counterfeiting? I thought counterfeiting would be the action of making fake dollar bills, but if you're buying fake dollar bills or fake bills at all, is that counterfeiting? I just don't know. Can't you always just claim, oh, somebody passed it off to me and I was just trying to pass it off there? But no, when you do it out of business, you're just asking to get caught like this dumbass. Man, but $400,000?
This represents America.
Secret Service agent Frank Boudreau used to protect the president. Now, as a special agent in charge at the Phoenix field office, he's back to the original job of the Secret Service, combating counterfeit currency.
All right, so why is that the Secret Service? I thought the Secret Service main job was to protect the president. Why not put the FBI on that? And it doesn't make a lot of sense to have all these like different type of just bureaus, these different type of organizations, when you could just have like, hey, you know what? All the Secret Service people, you're going to end up over with the FBI. You're going to hang out with the FBI, and you guys are all going to become one group. Secret Service, I did not know that their original job was looking for counterfeit money.
This was our bread and butter and the reason we were formed.
This Home Depot near Baseline and Priest notified the Secret Service after discovering nearly $400,000 in real money was missing. An investigation led them to a Home Depot vault associate named Adrian Pineda.
You know, if this keeps happening, what's going to end up happening is that the movies are going to have to start CGIing all money. It's all going to be like green bills, but they're going to have to CGI every bit of money now if something like this keeps happening. But also at the same time, now this was an inside job too, by the way. Inside job. And another question is, how does it take that long for $400,000 to accumulate? And I would also like to know, how much does $400,000 worth of fake money, how much does that cost when you buy it off of Amazon?
Court documents say Pineda was caught on camera more than a dozen times taking cash slated to be deposited to the bank and replacing it with counterfeit cash from his own wallet. Agents believe...
Wait a minute, did that guy just say Asians believe? Or was he just trying to hurry it up? Like, I only got a certain amount of time, and I'm just not going to say agents. I'm going to just say Asians believe.
Agents believe Pineda was doing this for over 3 years.
What makes it difficult for a store like Home Depot or a large cash deposit is so many of the other notes are going to be genuine, and when it's commingled in with just a few counterfeits.
Wait a minute. Isn't that what that machine's for? That machine? Or is the counterfeit money that great that it can actually fool one of those counting machines? I remember we grew up with a kid that was like this wannabe drug dealer, and he just thought he had made it. He was like, look, man, I got a money counter. I'm making so much money. I got to have a money counter. And I got these bags of rubber bands. I'm going to iron my money. I want my money to be clean. I want it to be flat. I want it to be crisp. I want it to be sticky, just like when it comes out of the bank. I like my money to have drip on it. Yeah, that really did make me seem like a real poser when I used the word drip. I had to push it. And my drip went completely away when I used the word drip.
The initial stage, they may get through, but you're going to eventually get caught.
Yeah, see, now, this is the other thing about all these stories. We now know the time frame, 3 years. So instead of pushing it 3 years, you drop your timetable down to 2 years. That gives you a year to cover up any mess. You go in with a fake identity, fake all that. Just fake it all. Fake it all. Matter of fact, if you can get one of those face-off operations that Nick Cage and John Travolta had, do that. But now it just seems like the Secret Service is kind of just giving you the game plan. Here's our playbook. Use it, and we'll catch up with you later on. No, you're not going to catch up with me, because I'm only going to do it 2 years. And then I'm out. I'm out, and you're never, ever going to see me again.
Federal investigators say they later found out Pineda has bought the cash on Amazon over 20 times, and say when they confronted him about it, Pineda admitted to the scheme and agreed to pay the money back to Home Depot. He could also face up to 20 years in jail.
Crime doesn't pay, especially if you make funny money or pass funny money.
I love it when law enforcement, they think everything's like Miami Vice or CSI. where, like, you got the opening scene, and you can't go to commercial break until you actually, like, say this, like, one-liner. Like, hey, stop making that funny money, because you're going to leave the government green with envy. And then it just goes to break, you know. Or, no, it goes to the intro. No, goes to break, come back, reset on the show. I like it when shows do that.
On identifying fake cash, Agent Boudreaux says, look for the watermark when you hold it up to the light.
Also, why does Agent Boudreaux sound like some coon dick? And by the way, that's not a bad word. Coon dick is like what you call those deep, down in the wood swamp type Louisiana people. Those swamp people that you talk about. They're like, hey, we got funny money over here in the Midwest. Who are we going to call? Well, I know the right agent, but we're going to have to take an airboat out. Gator hunting season. I know where Detective Boudreaux of the Secret Service is going to be. You get out there on the airboat. Detective Boudreaux's pulling up a good 12-foot gator he just shot in the forehead with a shotgun. They're like, Agent Boudreaux, we need your help here. We got $400,000 of funny money. Well, I'll be there. Go Tigers. And then he hits the airboat. And that's when he says go Tigers. That's where you go to a commercial break, come back, reset. He's already in Nevada at the Home Depot doing his primary investigation. Yeah, you can tell I took my Adderall today.
Some real bills have color ink that shifts when moved, and a genuine bill will have a partial cloth texture instead of pure paper.
If you're dealing with cash, if you're a cashier or someone like that, you really should know your money.
In Tempe, Jordan Bonnke, ABC 15, Arizona.
All right, well, I just look, now you guys, the supporters of the Tuddle Daily Podcast, now you have the game plan. You got the playbook. You know that any more than 3 years, you might want to just play it safe, go 2 years, 2.5 years pushing it. Don't get heavy with the funny money. You got to take what you can. That's why a lot of these people get caught. It's all because of greed. You want more and more and more, and guess what? It's going to get you more and more time in prison, especially if you're a dude. It's going to get you more and more butt sex. Not you giving, you taking. Going to be holding somebody's pockets because of funny money. Anyways, going to get out of here. Before I do, make sure you check out my good friend Ian Hanna. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home in the Flagler, Volusia, Brevard area, if you even know somebody, tell them, hey, I heard about Ian Hanna on the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Oh, you listen to the Tuddle Daily? Yes, of course. You hear that story about the Home Depot? Yeah, man, now I know I only got 2.5 years before I get caught. Thanks to Tuddle, I'm going to be able to scam the corporation known as the United States government. But no, go to IanHannaHomes.com if you're in the market to buy or sell a home, like I said, in the Flagler, Volusia, Brevard area. IanHannaHomes.com. All right, guys, getting out of here. Hopefully you enjoyed today's show. Hopefully you guys stay safe, and I will talk to you tomorrow.
And that's the show for today. Thanks for listening to the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Hey, don't be a dickhead. Do us a favor. Like, share, and subscribe to the show. Also, check out the Tuddle category at 315live.com. The Tuddle Daily Podcast is brought to you by Starfire Transport, StitchYouUp.com, and PocketPairClub.com. Special thanks to show producer Vulture and co-host Sirach. Show voiceover service is brought to you by JCVoiceover.com and The Little Cheese Show. Download and subscribe to The Little Cheese Show everywhere podcasts are found. If you want to help support the show, go to paypal.me/TuddleOnTheRadio. You have something you want to say? Tuddle@gmail.com or leave a voicemail at 407-270-3044. To follow all Tuddle social media, go to Tuddle.net. That's Tuddle with 2 Ds.net. Thanks again for all your support, and we'll see you tomorrow on the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
I get ignorant in normal situations.
What you mean?
What the fuck you mean?
What are you talking about?
Nigga, what the fuck is you talking about?
Oh, shit.